Call to meeting the April 14th, 2015 Planning Board meeting, Currituck County. I'd like to ask you all to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of prayer.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Justice for all.
Planning Board does have a quorum tonight with 7 members present. Ask, are there any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
I'll call for a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. In accordance with the State Government Ethics Act, it is the duty of every planning board member to avoid conflicts of interest. Does any planning board member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matters coming before the planning board today? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the particular matter involved.
I would like to recuse myself from item PB 1505 in the event of future financial impact in solar array matters.
Okay, John Wright is recused from PB 1505.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to as well.
Same case.
Yes, sir.
All right, John Wright and Bobby Bell recused from PB 1505 Currituck County Solar Array Standards. Are there any changes to the minutes? If not, I'll call for a motion to adopt the minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Our first case tonight is old business PB 1433. Barry Nelms. It's a request to amend the Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 5, Development Standards to allow an increased height and electronic message boards for off-premise directional signs. One second, Mr. Nelms. 1 second. First of all, I will apologize to the planning board, to the planning staff, to the applicant. This is a case that has come back to us that we need to make a more clear motion on. And that's our purpose here tonight, is to clarify our motion. So if it's okay with you, we got 5 minutes that you can speak if you've got any additional information. But the purpose of what this case is on the agenda for is to clarify our motion. So 5 minutes if you want them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was stymied, as I'm sure part of your board was, at the...
If you would, give your name and address for the record.
My name is Barry Nelms. I'm the owner of Barry's on Walnut Island Restaurant Lodge and Sports Center, located in Grandy, North Carolina. The request that this board unanimously approved the last time I came here, at least to my total understanding, met all the requirements. I went back and read the purpose and intent of the signage under Chapter 5 of the Developmental Standards. It said it's to promote reasonable, orderly, and effective display of signs. That's exactly what my request was for. It says it's to protect the public welfare as well as land values by preserving the aesthetic qualities. Putting this sign up, this sign that I showed you pictures of, instead of a 4x8 sheet of plywood, does exactly that. It says preserve the community's environment from excessive and obtrusive signs. This sign was below the minimum that was allowed of 64 square foot, and it was not obtrusive in any way. It's on a piece of property that's zoned commercial. It's a 3-acre lot. It said it's to promote the safety of persons by land by providing that signs do not create a traffic hazard. This sign does just the opposite. It tells people where to turn in Grandy so that it doesn't create a traffic hazard with the driver looking for where to turn off to find my restaurant and my lodge. It is a safety item. It says it is to promote the efficient transfer of general public and commercial identification information. That's exactly what this sign does. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. I didn't know what exactly your procedure would be, Mr. Chairman, but I understand. This is simply a request so that my business can continue. As I mentioned before, there are 10 presently restaurants that are closed and gone on the lower end of the county. The economy is horrible. My sign, and I will bring back one other item that Donna Suvalova can verify, this ordinance change was approved by the Board of Commissioners. I'm not asking for anything new. I'm asking simply that the requirements that you have make my sign effective. It's not effective to put a sign down on the ground, not a directional sign. It's not effective at all. And the federal courts in 5 cases that I've found have said that. You've got to allow me to have an effective way to promote my business. This ordinance change only affected 2 businesses. My business, Barry's Wallen Island Restaurant, and Pearl's on Knott's Island. Mr. Terry Miles already has a sign. It would affect, I'll take that back, it also would affect Coinjock Marina. The other business that was listed is the Point Golf Course. The Point Golf Course has property on 158. Their 18th hole is right there on 158, so it didn't apply to them. So this doesn't help but 3 businesses that have been in business in this county. My place has been in business in this county since 1956, and we're struggling, and we have no sign out there on that highway. And I appreciate your consideration. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Nelms.
No questions.
Any questions for Mr. Nelms from the board? Okay, then I'm going to open up board discussion. We've got 3 items on this particular case, and really any similar case. State the factors considered, describe the consistency with the adopted plans, and include any other information that was factored into the decision. We discussed this. I thought we had a good, thoughtful discussion last time amongst the board, amongst the public, and with the applicant. In our motion, we did not include some of the reasons that we passed this request. Some of the things that we did talk about was regarding LUP policy CA4. Regarding creating a quality business image, we discussed that the sign being proposed is nicer than what's currently allowed. We discussed LUP policy CA5, that this use is already permitted. We're not increasing the number of signs in any way. That was passed by the Board of Commissioners on January the 22nd, 2013. The looks of the sign, again, regarding LUP policy CA4, it says that the sign standards should be established and periodically updated to enhance community appearance and create a quality business image. That was part of our consideration as well. There are already other message boards in the county. Granted, they are on premise, but they are on 158 and 168. And taking all these factors into account, the motion was made and we passed it unanimously. So what I've hoped to do is quickly summarize what we discussed last time. Are there any other questions or comments among the staff or the board? Then I'll open it for a motion.